Yo, my name is Colin, and this is
I'm Norika.
And this is the bench.
The bench.
Season 3.
Oh, is that why you put up threes? We are in season 3.
So we do apologize before we get into the whole video for being MIA for I think about 2 weeks or so. And in that 2-week period, we did win the WAF card. We were celebrating. So if you followed our socials, you would have seen all the content and all the love we were giving Banyana during that period. So I think they deserve a clap since we didn't get to do an episode on them.
Yeah, we struggled with internet. Yeah. We did try.
Yeah. But now it's fine. Now it's fine because Norika, the eagle, has landed back in South Africa.
I didn't get a people went at the airport when I landed.
Yeah.
It was by myself, trying to smuggle in airport gifts for you guys, which
wow.
I love.
But I saw the comments on when Banana landed, everybody was like, yeah, we see Mama Joy, we see this person, but where's the white girl that was wearing the 96 jersey that was in the stands? Yeah, so they did notice that your presence was missing, but it's fine. Welcome back to load shedding.
Why you have to say I'm a white girl though? That was unnecessary.
I didn't say it. It was either the white girl or Mustafa Haji's daughter, and Mustafa Haji is not my father, so I'd rather you just be a white girl, But anyway, yes, that was the past 2 weeks. Norika is back. Hopefully we will get a proper episode of season 3, next week on the bench. But I think this hopefully, because of the technical difficulties and stuff, this is hopefully the last Zoom session. But yeah, any news from your side?
No, I'm happy to be back in South Africa. Watched a couple episodes of Come Dine With Me. It's like, do you know what the weird thing is though? Like, I don't feel as if I was away from home because I have traveled before with school and university, and I've gone over the ocean, and coming back home, I'm just like, ooh, back home, Africa again. But this time, it felt like I was going to my auntie's house during the school holidays. And then I just came back home, and I'm like, same, but different.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like, from the looks of it looks like you did enjoy your Morocco trip. Shout out to everybody who helped you out in Morocco. I don't know why I'm thanking them, but yeah, it looks like you had a good time.
I'm forever grateful to everyone that helped me in Morocco, and now I'm going to be back in South Africa. So just PSA, don't invite me nowhere. Don't tell me to do anything. I don't have money for it. I don't have the finances to finance living life now. I'm done. I'm done.
Sure. It's going to be tough. But yeah, you did enjoy your trip. Morocco was a blast. So yeah, as I said at the beginning of the episode, load shedding, water cuts, 26 Rand petrol. Back to reality, Norika. Back to working a 9 to 5 and not going to games and experiencing the good life. But anyway, we love South Africa and we love the football. And season 3 of the bench, we are doing what we love and why we started the channel in this first place. I mean, it's kind of weird to talk about season 3 because we started this whole journey of not knowing PSL and DSTV Premiership football, and to think that now we are 3 seasons deep into chatting about South African football. And, I think over the past 3 years, we've connected with so many people, met some footballers, met some journalists, met some other important people, that's helped us along this way. And yeah, especially the bench warmers that showed us all the love. It's been a crazy ride.
I'm super excited. Season 3 of the bench started because of the PSL. And I guess with Banyana, we need to figure out a segment here to talk about women's football. But we're going to go back to our bread and butter, which is the DSTV Premiership. And before jumping into that, I don't think we actually spoke about Coach Benni, who follows me personally on social media and then also follows the bench, is now a coach for one of the biggest clubs in the world. whether the club is here or there, that's besides the point. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Thoughts, Colin? Because everyone thought he would like maybe go to a Pirates or like, you know, there were all these rumors. And then my man said, I want to earn more money. Let me go over there.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, when the news broke, I first thought it was fake news. And then, like, Robert Marawa is a credible journalist in South Africa. So there's no way in blue hell that it was going to be fake news, you know? So he was, I think, the first person to break the news. And then it started filtering to overseas media. And then, like, an hour later, Manchester United posted him in the kits outside the offices, and he was like posing. He's like, I'm here now, you know? So he was signed as the first team coach. I think it is the first team striking coach. So I think, you know what, other African coaches don't get publicized, especially in the English league. So he may be the only African first team coach. Stands to be corrected. There may be other like coaches in departments and stuff. If there are, I would love to know, you know, no hate. But yeah, Benni McCarthy's African, waving the flag high in the Barclays Premier League. Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting times. One of the biggest clubs in the world. He was linked to Kaizer Chiefs. I think my club needs him at this point, but we'll get into those results later. But yeah, hopefully he succeeds. Hopefully he turns their fortunes around, and yeah, we see great things from Benni that side over the pond.
Yes, it is Benni in the 18 area for a reason, and it makes sense that he is a striking coach. But again, bringing it back to our bread and butter, the DStv Premiership is back on your screens, live in HD or not in HD, depending on the TV or how you are streaming the games. But before we go into the opening round of fixtures, like the first set of games, Colin, are you still a glamour boy? Are you still out here riding with the black and yellow?
I was gonna get into that later. I thought we'd go through the fixtures and the results, you know, and talk about what I liked, what I disliked from each of the teams. But I mean, since we're here now, I mean, I started off season one. Who was I even supporting in season one? Bloom, yes, I was. I'll never forget that. I started season one. Yeah, you know, we're 3 seasons deep, so it's a lot of football that I've been taking in. So yeah, I was part of the Bloemfontein Celtic family, and then all of a sudden my club ceased to exist within the first division of South African football. Second season, last season, I was a glamour boy. Shout out Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know, hey, I've been at it on the Twitter streets, being associated to Kaizer Chiefs. I feel like people now know me as a Kaizer Chiefs supporter. So I was contemplating before we shot this episode whether I'm going to carry on to the tradition of moving on to a different club, trying to support somebody else, or sticking with them. But yeah, I think I might. You know, we had a good run. Me and Kaizer Chiefs. It was exciting. It was a long 18 months of football, a long season. So I think I might just put that shirt and that supporting spirit to rest. And I think by next week, I'll let the bench warmers know who I've picked, you know, as my team going forward for the season. What about you, though? I know you were supporting KZN teams, AmaZulu, but KZN teams. So are you going to decide to finally pick a side in season 3, or are you still sticking with your decision?
I wanted to say there are no rules to this game. One of the most notable supporters in African football, Mama Joy, was one of the biggest transfers news last season. So you can do what you want, Colin. I think there's Richards Bay, there's AmaZulu, there's Royal AM, and there is Maritzburg United. Sorry. I don't think I'm going to be an outright Royal AM supporter, only because, like, they have so much going for them. So I want to secretly go and do it. But, like, I don't want to, like, outright be a Royal AM supporter. I like AmaZulu because we're from Durban, but I think I'm going to spend a lot of time following Richards Bay FC. Also, shout out Richards Bay FC because I do have friends from Richards Bay, and, you know, got to give love to the new kids on the block.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I think I might also, hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to draw or just decide to pick a team, but I mean, I did support 2 teams outside of KZN for the past 2 seasons. And, us being from KZN, I think it would be nice, especially like a team like AmaZulu and Arrows. If I'm supporting them, I can actually attend games, and like get connected with the team and fully be behind them, like, in spirit. So you never know. Maybe I'll see you next week. You might just see me pitching up in an AmaZulu shirt, swagged out.
Arrows, good job.
Maybe Arrows, but yeah, I'm leaning towards AmaZulu because the kids is wavy. I can't lie. So if the kid look wavy, you might find me in the kids. Yeah.
Let's get into the first game. I think the first opening game was last season's first versus second. Cape Town City. Yeah. The football influencers took on the champions, Cape Town City, at home to Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns beat them 2-0. Goals from Zwane and Modiba. Scored within minutes of football of each other.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally 62nd, 63rd minute they scored. I mean, shout out to City. First half, they were holding it down. It ended no first half. Second half, I think, business as usual for Sundowns. And they realized, we are Sundowns over here. Like, Cape Town City, well done. Like, you played well. It was an exciting game. You kind of held your own for that 45 minutes, and it's just the second 45. You just see Sundowns be Sundowns, So, personally, I'm not surprised with the result. It is 2-0, clean sheet. Clean sheet, especially for a big transfer into that side, in Bafana captain, Ronald Williams. So it just shows the talent and the riches that Sundowns have compared to a team like Cape Town City. But I don't think it's all dead and gone for Cape Town City this entire season. It is the first game. Yeah. I think they can follow up their second place finish from last season with the challenge this season, or consecutive second place. And I mean, they got Champions League football. So I think there's a lot ahead of them. To face Sundowns in the first game of the season is a hard one. I don't think anybody looks forward to that.
100%. I did see on the Twitter street, people took the win from Sundowns, going business as usual. Do we just give them the lead? What is, is everyone else now in contention for second, third, and fourth? And a place finish, because we already know we're going to give the lead to Sundowns. But it's only the first game of the season. And as we know, it's football. Anything can happen. Stellenbosch drew 0-0 to Gallants, so goalless draw. I think it's going to be a very interesting season for Stellenbosch because they did lose some keynote players going into the season with a few players not on their books. Thoughts on Gallants and Stellenbosch?
Yeah, I mean, Gallants, it looks like a season where you're just going to be focusing on cup competition or just trying to survive in the Prem again. Nothing more or less exciting promising going for them into the season. Stellenbosch, on the other hand, I feel like after the performance from last season, a lot of people were expecting them to just, upgrade, but you lose big players. We kept on saying it last season. These were young guys who were performing really well for an overachieving side. So you will see them move on to bigger teams. But I mean, point shared, it's probably a point game for Gallants and 2 points drop for Stellenbosch. But yeah, again, I mean, guys, first game of the season, there's nothing much to really take out of it,
Yeah.
It's not an L, it's a foundational builder, and hopefully they can do better than I think they hit 14 draws last season. So it might be going in that direction. Hopefully they can turn those draws into 3 points. And you never know, you might see them actually challenging for a Confed Cup or, I wouldn't say Champions League, but in the cup competitions. Yeah.
On a side note, what I think is interesting, teams the Stellenbosch setup sort of reminds me of the SuperSport United, where at a developmental level, grassroots level, the club is really strong. So they produce quality footballers in South Africa who either break into the first team or just about break into the first team and are moved, have an amazing season and are bought by other teams. That's sort of what I sense at Stellenbosch, what at least happened in this past transfer season going into this new season. And I think what happens is that is going to continue happening because it's just credit to the developing coaches and
Yeah.
bringing up these players. But I think there's going to come a point where the players will no longer want to leave the club and will want to stay at the club to like win trophies. So it is, football is a marathon, not a race. Pirates beat Swallows 1-0. New manager at Pirates. It is not Benni. It is Jose Riviero.
It's crazy, huh? I mean, I remember a couple months ago when they announced him as the manager, everybody was like, who this man? Like, who is he? Why is Pirates signing like some random Spanish guy that nobody's ever heard of? Like, is he proven? What kind of type of football, like, the style and everything, would it actually work within the PSL? But, I mean, looking at that game, especially, I think they had the family day or the open day before that, the turnout from the Pirate supporters was insane. First game of the season, the turnout was also insane, especially playing Swallows. I mean, it is kind of the Soweto derby, but it's still insane. I mean, with a lot happening in South Africa right now. I don't think anybody expected this performance from a Pirates team. Jose Rivero, from, first impressions is something that we always talk about. And I mean, this first impressions from a Pirates team, it looks like Tiki Taka might be introduced into the DStv Prem sooner or later. Yeah.
That is exciting. I don't know. There's a lot of chatter about whether this could be a season, because Pirates went to the final in the Confed Cup last season. They could actually get it together and, give Sundowns a run for their money. Then we had a Kaizer derby and Richards Bay's first time added in the PSL. Richards Bay up against Golden Arrows. They beat them 2-0. This was a debut season opening PSL game for Richards Bay FC. Clean sheet, 3 points, 2 goals. Are they here for the long run?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the Natal hashtag rich boys, as they know. Something needs to be done with that nickname, with that slogan, or whatever. Personally, I'm not a fan. Secondly, they're a dope team, right? But the Twitter streets were not having that kit that they have, the guys lined up in the season. So they may have took 2 L's on social media, but they took 3 points on the pitch against Arrows. And I think that's all that matters. I feel like these things, especially when things like this happen, when you get the new team in top flight football, somehow, like, you see it in every single league in the world where it's just that upset on the weekend. Like, you're bound to win, It's like everything aligns and they're playing a lot of passion and, like, the desire in the engine. So they ended up winning 2-0, but I think the biggest thing to take away from them is winning 2-0 with a clean sheet. So it shows that you have defensive solidity. It shows that you have the ability to score goals. And I mean, Arrows is not a team to just, like, take a win and not think anything of it. So it's something promising for Richards Bay, especially in their debut maiden top flight season going ahead. I'm excited personally. I think, remember a couple seasons ago when Swallows came back and nobody expected him to be flying high the way they did, similar to a Royal M when they did it last season, finishing up close to the top. So these guys over here, I think they have a point to prove. I think they're going to be an unexpected factor going forward in the season, and it's going to be exciting. So if you're following Richards Bay, I would put my money on them.
I guess we're going to have to make a road trip to Richards Bay. Another KZN team that was up. They didn't get all 3 points. They got 1 point. Maritzburg drew 1-1 to Sekhukhune. Point shared. I don't know if it is drop points to Sekhukhune. I know that Katsande has retired and will be an ambassador for the club. But I don't know, in my head, because I didn't watch this game, thinking about Maritzburg and thinking about Sekhukhune, they seem like a well-matched team. So 1-1 draw is not far-fetched. It's not a far-fetched result.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But, like, the only reason why I would have said is drop points is because these guys signed insane players. I mean, they signed Letwalo, who was the run-up to Peter Shalulile in goals scored last season. So you sign the best goal-scoring South African striker in the league, right, as your strike force for Sekhukhune. Then you sign a Pirate striker in Mabasa. And I think they signed a couple other players who, Linda and Dumbo now, another Pirates player. So they signed about 4 to 5 attacking players, a couple solid midfielders, where the squad depth is insane and the quality in the squad has increased about tenfold, you know. So going forward, you expect them to win games, especially like not to knock down Maritzburg, but Maritzburg, when you think of them, they're relatively a small side, but it's a lot of developmental players and they're really overachieving, you know, with what they have. So I say it's 2 points dropped, you know, but then again, first game of the season, we're talking about chemistry, we're talking about a lot of signings coming together, trying to prove themselves. And it's a big season for a lot of these guys, you know. I know towards the end of last season, they started faltering out and dropping points, you know, moving towards mid-table and flirting with relegation. So hopefully they can pick up points and survive in the league.
That makes sense. That's a fair point, considering the signings that they made. Another draw, but this was a goalless draw, was TS Galaxy versus AmaZulu. Definitely, I don't think there's much to speak on this game, but definitely points dropped for AmaZulu, considering the owners coming in a couple seasons ago and the big ambitions for the club. So this is 3 seasons in with new owners. Last season wasn't a good season for them. No one wants to speak about it. You want to start the season off with a strong, you know, like a bang.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily doing that. So I don't really know whether AmaZulu are going to finish in the top 3, but you did allude to in the beginning that you might become an AmaZulu supporter. Do you have any comments on them?
Yeah, I mean, with my support, anything is possible. You know, we saw it with Bloom. We saw it with Chiefs in a bad season where they finished top 8. That's all I'm saying. But
you're saying you're the lucky charm.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, but AmaZulu, it's TS Galaxy. You should be folding them over and getting 3 points easy. Looking at the investment, I mean, the biggest talking point I think for this game was probably the return of Ethan Brooks to his old team. He finally, I mean, we called it last season. We were like,
I did.
My guy, yeah, we said that he was gonna leave TS Galaxy because in terms of performance, and he's going to go to a bigger club. So AmaZulu, I wouldn't say really is a bigger club. I expect him to probably go to a Sundowns, Pirates or Chiefs, but I take that statement back and I concede this out because I feel like this is a wonderful career move for a player like Ethan Brooks. You're only 21. If you go to a big club, you probably get lost in the change room. You know, you're playing around with a lot of stars and egos around you, a lot of well-established players. You go to a side like AmaZulu now, who's rebuilding and trying to find themselves and actually become like a proper team competing in the league, right? You could be the main factor in that team, become a leader in the dressing room and develop your game, you know? And people, you will fly under the radar. I mean, AmaZulu is a big team, but like it's not really having a lot of the spotlights focused on you in terms of playing in a CAF Champions League final if you had to go to like a Sundowns. Over here, it's like you're playing league, you're playing cup, so you kind of find your feet, you have some time to settle in. And I think it's going to be exciting with the signings they made going forward.
I am excited to see the season for AmaZulu, and we keep saying it. We're saying it for like every game that we've spoken about so far. It was the first game of the season. The season's long. Anything can happen. It was the homecoming for Uncle Gav as he returned to SuperSport, and SuperSport's first game of the season was against Chippa United. So it was like a double homecoming. You came home and you went to your ex's home that used to be your home. But like your home that you're in now also used to be your home before you. It's like you dated someone, then you were just like, I think we should see other people. It's like you dated someone in high school. You're like, I think we need to see other people, you know, for growth. And then you went and you thought you found the love of your life. But then you came back to your original.
To the first. I hear you.
You know what I'm saying, man? Back and forth. I think the PSL purposely set it up for SuperSport and Chippa United to play each other in the first game. They they are without their club captain now, Ron Williams, who made that big move to Mamelodi Sundowns. But I think with Gav back, Uncle Gav, I'm not calling him Gav like I know him, Uncle Gav back at the wheel, I think we could see the resurgence of this mighty club that is SuperSport United.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, we spoke about that homecoming. He's coming back, I think, after probably 7 years, 7+ years at SuperSport. And the last time he was there, I think he won 3 titles in a row, something crazy like that, right? The players now, similar to Sekhukhune, it's a lot of big personalities in that dressing room. It's a lot of players who need to have big seasons. Looking at Gavin Hunt, who was released, I don't want to say fired because Uncle Gav, but who was released from Chippa United last season. You know, I think in that changing room, there's going to be a lot of fights. There's going to be a lot of guys over there who want to prove themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't want to. There's going to be a lot of people there with a chip on their shoulder, which I think is something very important to have, especially in South African football. You can't take anything for granted. You got to fight for every single point. And if I was a player, I think I would love to be in that SuperSport change room right now. You know, I feel like the culture and the atmosphere that's going to develop over the season is going to be very intense. And I can just imagine, I mean, you look at the young players like Keegan Johannes and Keenan Phillips and Jamie Webber, and it's going to be exciting to be around a manager like Gavin Hunt. And you know what we said with Ethan Brooks last season, I feel like they're going to also, you know, find themselves and their stocks rising as the season goes on.
And the last game, I kept the best game for last, because if Colin's hanging up his Glamour Boy shirt, it means it could be the return of the benches, Kaizer Chiefs slander report, which I'm really excited about. If Chiefs' season just is a downward spiral, as I anticipate it to be, Royal AM beat Kaizer Chiefs 1-0 again. And the goal came from Nashio Mento, who was a big transfer from Mamelodi Sundowns. Not surprised with Royal AM. There's so much going on in that club. No, like, could you ever be surprised about anything?
I can't. I mean, you know what? I give them a lot of hate. Me, I'm one to say it. I will own up to it. I give Royal AM a lot of hate. I don't. Initially, when they took over Bloemfontein Celtic, they bought their rights. I think the whole way they went about it, it's not what football is. If you are a true football believer, you know what I'm talking about, right? But at this stage of the game, I think you just tend to forget about those things, and you just got to accept it is like what it is, you know? You can't really change it. It's right there in front of you. These guys are proving to you, regardless of what you think of them, they will get results against anybody.
I don't know what's in that water at Chatsworth Stadium or what Mum keeps feeding people at lunch. But Royal AM, I think, to start off the season, the 1-0 win over Chiefs is mega. Chiefs losing. I guess all we could say for this game was it was the first game of the season. Write it off, keep it moving. But I'm excited about potentially having the slander report returned, and it's not just me, it'll be a tag team. But those were all the games in the opening weekend of the DStv Prem. It is back-to-back football. There is some women's football in the COSAFA qualifiers, so check that out if you are following the women's football. There is more DStv Premiership. All the teams are in action throughout the week. Make sure you are following that. Don't forget to follow us to see what team Colin decides to support next season. He went from Bloom, was a Glamour Boy. Season 3 of the bench. Who is Colin going to support? And just before we go, I wanted to say, Colin, she is a 6, but she watches the PSL.
Oh, she a 10.
She a 10? I love all those things. Please drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the first round or the first set of games for the DStv Premiership. Who do you think is going to win the season? Let's hear the predictions, guys. Come. Is it going to be Sundowns again? Our Pirate's going to come through. He's a 10. but he doesn't watch the PSL. What is he? Drop a comment. Let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's all love. Until next time. Bye.